Hi. In this video, we're going to start on working on the chapter 8 tutorials out of the book I use for my class. First one is creating the password validation project. So this one is going to allow you to put in a password and then check to make sure that it meets certain criteria. In this particular case, the criteria are that it has to be at least 8 characters long, has to contain at least one uppercase character, one lowercase character, and one numeric digit. So let's go ahead and get this open. And I got to start up Visual Studio. And open the project. Password validation. Get rid of this thing up here. This already has the interface done for us. And there it is there. One of the problems with it is, if you notice on there, it only shows 2 of these. And that's because of the format of the screen. So I'm going to lower this down and take it over this way a little bit. And then take all of these and move them down. And then I'm going to stretch this down and out. Like that. I'll just leave these down here. It's not going to matter if they're down a little bit further. Okay. That's so that everything shows up on the screen. And then if it doesn't, we'll come back in and remodify it some. So let's go ahead and get started with the code. We're going to have a few methods to create. And so what I'm going to do is show you how to get into this without having to click on a button if you don't want to. So you can come over here and right click on Form 1 CS and then just come down here where it says View Code. And that will open up the code window here for you so that you can go in here. So what we want to do is add our methods in right at this point here, right underneath the public Form 1. We're still in the partial class that we want to do this for. So the first one we're going to put in here is the number uppercase, so we can count how many of those that we have. We have to have at least one. So let's go ahead and private int, because we're going to return how many of those we have. Number uppercase, passing in a string str. Okay, so what we're going to do here is just run through what we have to have a variable, which we're going to call uppercase. And set it equal to 0. It's going to be an integer. And then we're just going to run through a for loop for each character, C, and I'm not going to use C in this. And so it doesn't like me to do that, so I'm just going to type it in here. Character, CH is what I'm using in this, in str. And it created an extra one of those for me. I don't need that. Let's get rid of that. And what we want to do is check to see if character dot is upper ch, then uppercase plus plus. So that's all there is in the if statement. That's all there is in the for each. So now we just need to return double check here. My battery, there we go, was not charging. So return uppercase. So that takes care of that one. That's going to tell us whether or not we have an uppercase character in there. So we need to do the same thing, similar, for lowercase. There I got number lowercase. Yours may not be all the way in here. I've already done these when I was testing them out. So it could be why some of this isn't in there, or some of it's showing up on mine and not on yours. So in this one, then we want to do the same thing. We're going to have an int lowercase equals 0, for each character ch in str. If character dot is lower ch, then lowercase plus plus. And then we need to check to see how many digits we have in it. So we go down here, we're done with the for loop, we're done with the method. Oh, got return. Almost forgot that. Return lowercase. Okay, so now we're done with the method. I'm going to scroll this down here, or up, however you want to call it, so we can see that better. There we go. I need to do the number digits. And again, we're passing in string str. Int digits equals 0 for each. It goes to create stuff in here that I don't like when it does that. So for each character ch in str, if character dot is digit ch, digits plus plus. Okay. That ends the if statement. That ends the for each. And I got an extra one of these in here. Get rid of my extra spaces in here. There we go. And then this is where we would do our return digits. Okay. That's an extra one of those in there. Sometimes it fills these in for us, and it makes things a little bit messy when you're trying to do things on here. Okay, so that takes care of the extra methods that we need to put in here. So I can go back to my form and double click on my check password button, which will open that up for me here. And what we got to do in here, we're going to need a constant. It's going to be an int min length. It's going to be equal to 8. It's the minimum length of our password. String password is going to be equal to password textbox.text. And then we do an if statement. If password.length is greater than or equal to min length, don't end that yet, ampersand, ampersand for and, number uppercase, passing in password, is greater than or equal to 1, and number lowercase, passing in password, is greater than or equal to 1, and number digits, password is greater than or equal to 1. If all that's true, then we do a message box dot show the password is valid. Okay. If that's not true, do an else here. Do a message box dot show the password does not meet the requirements. Okay. And that's all there is to it. So our method is going to take care of all the work, or our methods are going to take care of all the work, so we don't have to put all that in our main event handler here. So let's go ahead and do the exit button. And I'm going to go back over here to the form real quick. I'm going to slide these buttons apart a little bit because they're being that close, we're probably going to overrun each other. So, okay, so let's test this out, see if it works. Okay, so we want to test each one of these out. So let's test out the length. I'm going to do 333 and click on check password. Password does not meet the requirements. Okay. Must contain at least one uppercase letter. So let's do 333 TTTT. T. I think that's 8 characters. Check. Does not meet the requirements. Has to have one lowercase letter. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Check. Does not meet. Let me change one of these here to a number because it has to have a number in there. Check that. Still does not meet the requirements. So I think we checked everything on there. So let's go ahead and put in a password. Uppercase, lowercase, number, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have all those in there. Lowercase, uppercase, number, check. It's valid. So everything worked. You always need to check out all the different possibilities to make sure it's going to work right. Okay? So hopefully that helps you out a little bit with some of the string methods that are available. And we'll go on to the next one here. And the next one is completing the telephone format project. And what this is we have the user enter 8 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I'm sorry, 10 numbers that represent an area code, the extension, and then the number. And then it returns the number formatted with parentheses around the area code and a dash between the extension and the number. Okay. So when we do this, we have to check to make sure we have 10 characters to start with, and that each character is a digit, and then we can format it. So let's go ahead and open this one up. They've already got the interface created for us. It's telephone format. Okay, get rid of these. And then this looks like it might all work. We'll see. If it doesn't, then we can redo, format it or whatever. So again, I'm going to go over here and right click and view code, because we're going to have a method to put in here. And so we're going to go here. So this is going to be a private bool. We're going to return a Boolean value. Is valid number. Passing in a string str. So we're going to have a constant. This is an int valid length. And that's going to be equal to 10. We're going to have a Boolean variable, which we're going to call valid. And it's going to be equal to true. We're going to assume that it's right until it's not. Now, if str.length equals valid length, then you got to check each character. So for each character ch in str, if not char dot is digit ch, valid equals false. So we got to drop down here. That takes care of the if statement, takes care of the for loop, so that the if statement here, we need to do an else. And the else will be valid equals false. So it's false if any of the character, if any one of the characters is not a digit, and it's false if the length here is not 10 from this if statement here. Okay. And then go to the into the if statement here, and we're going to return valid. Okay, it's grayed out because we haven't started using it yet. Now we need another method. So go here, scroll down, get this up at the top of the page here. And this one's going to be the telephone format. So we're actually going to format it here. So private, get this in the right place would help. We're not passing anything back. Telephone format. Then we're going to do a reference variable string str, so that as we manipulate this, we'll just change the string each time. So when we get done, we don't have to return a value. String will be changed because we're passing in the address of where it is in memory. So first thing is we need to set the opening parentheses. So str is going to be equal to str dot insert. We want to insert at the 0 position, and we want to insert the opening parentheses. Okay. Then our str is going to be equal to str dot insert again. This time we want to go to position 4, because we have 0 is where the opening parentheses is, and then the first 3 numbers, and we want it to go right after that. So it's 0, 1, 2, 3, and then we want this to go in position 4. And we want this to be the closing parentheses. Okay. And then we got one more to do. And that's going to be the dash in between. str equals str dot insert. And so we have the opening position, opening parentheses is 0. The 3 numbers is 1, 2, 3. Closing parentheses is 4. Okay. And then we have 3 numbers is 5, 6, 7. So this one's going in position 8. And this is going to be the dash. Whoops. And that's all that. That's everything there. So now what we need to do is our button event handler. And scroll this again a little bit. So what this is going to do is we're going to get the number that the person enters into the text box and then check to see if it's valid. So string input equals number text box dot text. So then if is valid number, passing in input. Then we would do a telephone format, reference input, and then message box dot show input. Else message box dot show invalid input. Okay. Now I'm off a parenthesis or a curly brace someplace, so I got to go back through here and look. All those match up. That's the one for the private there. Those match. Those all match. Everything seems to match. So let's do. There. It was just I must have deleted one out someplace that didn't need to be deleted out. So, okay, let's test this out and see. Okay, so let's put in 3334444. Format this number. Oh, invalid input. Now, what would be nice is if it told you what the invalid input was on here, that it was didn't have enough characters in there, but we didn't do that. Okay, so let's do this then. 333-444-5555. We got enough characters now. Format, invalid input. See, it's not telling you what's wrong with it, so you don't know. And we'll see if we can fix that here. So it's good. 333-444-5555. Format, and then there's the number formatted. Okay, so let's go ahead and exit out of this. Oh, I didn't do the exit button. That's fine. We've done that before. You know how to do that, or you should know how to do that by now. So let's go up here, and what I would do instead of just putting in, well, part of the problem is that we're returning a valid or true or false. So we're not telling it what the reason is for that. So we would have to change this around and have this return a message, a string, and then come down here if is valid number input, and have this or have it actually do this before the if statement and check. And if it's not valid, but it would be way too much to modify all this now. But that would be like a version 2 of this if you were selling this, to say, okay, let's get this fixed up so it tells you what's wrong with the number. Okay. Anyway, I hope this helps you out on get started with strings. Bye.